or a midlife crisis. Chair speakers, guests. That rhythm is a rhythm that I'm sure you all know. You may not wonder straight away what it is, but if I tell you, if you were sat in the restaurant at lunchtime, overlooking the railway line, you would recognise it as the wheels of the bogies on the carriages pass over the gaps in the track. Typical noise associated with trains. Railways generate a tremendous amount of enthusiasm amongst people. People like to travel by train. It's meant to be convenient, relaxing and straightforward. It gets you from A to B with no problems. And there's some great and beautiful lines. In Wales we have the coastal line to Tenby, where the waves appear to lap up on the train as it goes past. There's the Heart of Wales line, which starts in England and comes through the Welsh countryside. The countryside is beautiful. You've got golden fields leading to green arable pasture in a rural idyll. Perhaps you like the urban travel. Here in Cardiff we have the Wootton line, and you can look into people's gardens and see what trampolines or swimming pools they've got and have been able to build. That's the dream of railway travel. But railways are having a midlife crisis. Cancellations. They're expensive. Overcrowding. Rerouting. In the case of the Wootton line, no Sunday service at all. Those halcyon days that we see on the Great Western Railway advert referencing the famous 5 by Blyton, those days seem to be long gone. Yet people still really like trains. And they want to recreate that experience in their houses. Many people have model railways. Companies, Hornby, Pecco, do very strong business amongst the young people particularly, but also amongst an older section as well, as they reminisce about that ideal of train travel, and they want to recreate it in their attic, and they spend fortunes doing it. In Cardiff and in many other cities there are model railway shows where people come from far and wide to demonstrate the layouts that they spent an interminably long amount of time putting together. Those little details which matter so much, and yet it creates a great panorama landscape. I'm in my mid-40s, and I've decided it's time to have a midlife crisis. And I've seen something which I think you'll appreciate where I'm going with this. It's not miniature railways, although you might think it from my speech so far. Something a bit bigger. In our local park, we have a railway line which opens up to the public to go and ride on. It's very enjoyable. I looked into this a bit more, and on social media, the evil of social media, I've come across something called minimal gauge railways. Specifically, Mr. Chairman, these are not miniature railways that you would put up in your attic. These are minimal gauge railways. They have two gauges, normally 5.5 inch or 7.25 inch. 7.25 inch, just to give you an idea, is that wide. They're little trains, not miniatures, but little trains which you can sit on and ride around. There are many, many examples of people doing this in their own back gardens. In Norway, there's one guy that's decided to convert a carriage, a flat level carriage, and attach 6 lawnmowers each side to mow his grass adjacent to the railway line. How he has not killed himself, having watched the video, I have no idea, but the results are very impressive. And in America, Americans do things bigger, we all know that. There is in deepest, darkest Oregon something called Railroad Mountain. This is an incredible facility put together by enthusiasts, perhaps with a lot of money behind them. And it's an area of railroad, miniature railroad, of, wait for this, 36 miles. Now, obviously that doesn't go for 36 miles, it goes for 3 miles, which for a miniature railway is extraordinary in its own right. But once you loop it all round, it comes to 36 miles. And because it's so long, it takes about 3.5 hours to do the whole circuit. You go from different scenes. You start off in woodland at the station, and then because it goes on and on and on, you end up in a sort of arid desert environment, which can be completely dangerous with wild animals perhaps, and obviously you hope that it's not raining or too cold, so that you can get back safely, dryly, and in one piece. So this is where I come in, because I started looking into this in real detail, and I've discovered that for a minimal gauge railway, it's only £5,000 for a starter pack. My midlife crisis of a Lamborghini, or perhaps some sort of motorbike or something, that's for another time. Today, we're in minimal gauge railways. £5,000 for a starter pack. It gets you a basic loop and an engine and a ride-on carriage. And therefore, it's something I at some point intend to do. What else will I have to do? I'll have to build a station. That's the trouble with these hobbies, whether they're little dinky ones or larger ones like this. They start small and they grow. So we're going to need a station. We're going to need a siding with a signal, no doubt. I'll probably introduce some sort of ticketing system if anyone comes around and has a ride on it. And I've got it all planned up in my mind. I know exactly how I want this thing to look. But here's the rub. I haven't yet told my wife about this plan. I don't yet know how to have that conversation. Oh, by the way, she's a member of the ASC. She's not here today, so please keep it amongst yourselves. If you see Jane, for those of you who know her, don't let on. I want it to be a surprise that she may not want in the future. But that's the rub. She does not know yet. But if at any point you're passing my house in North Cardiff when you hear, then you'll know I have won, you'll know I have my midlife crisis, and that I am merrily driving a train around my garden.